Ray Dalio has built one of the most successful hedge funds in history, and he wrote a book, but it's not about investing. There aren't any tips to get rich in the stock market. It doesn't talk about PE ratios, income statements, or balance sheets. It's all about lessons he's learned and ideas that he's developed over his career while creating Bridgewater Associates. How he started it, he built it, he almost lost it all and then built it up again. He ran into a lot of problems along the way, and he says it never got easier. As he became successful, he solved old problems and they're only replaced with new ones. The title, Principles, comes from the principles he's developed over his career. On the first page, Ray Dalio says, "Principles are fundamental truths that serve as the foundations of behavior that gets you what you want out of life. Principles are gathered over time and through experience and learning from mistakes. In life, we always come up against obstacles or the unexpected, but we can learn from these and evolve. We actually need to learn from these. Everything in nature evolves or dies. If we learn our lesson, we can develop principles that will guide us when things go wrong again in the future. And our principles will systemize our decision-making process so we can take the best course of action. We can develop principles and systems for every aspect of our life. Getting rich, creating a business, or getting good grades in school." Ray Dalio's first core principle is embrace reality and deal with it. This is where we get the ideas of radical truth and radical transparency. Discovering the truth can be hard for people, especially when it's something they don't want to hear. Radical truth is how we identify our weaknesses. This honest feedback is going to be negative, but it's what allows us to identify problems or weaknesses so we can improve on them. But we have strengths too, and we can play into our strengths and improve our weak areas. But we need to be able to hear these things that we don't want to hear because the truth is more important than our ego, at least according to Ray Dalio. Some people probably disagree. We also need to be radically transparent. This goes hand in hand with radical truth. By opening yourself up to that criticism. If you make a mistake, you need to be transparent on how and why it happened. Radical truth and radical transparency are required for evolving as a person. My second big takeaway from this is how Ray Dalio talks about evolution. Ray Dalio believes evolution is one of the most powerful forces in nature, and he summarizes this by saying pain plus reflection equals progress. You either evolve or you die, and it can be seen in this line. You're going in a direction, a problem occurs. You take the pain as feedback, reflect on it and what went wrong, and you make a decision. A positive choice will show that you learned and you grew. And if you don't learn and evolve, your progress will slow or even go negative. At Bridgewater Associates, instead of diluting blame and responsibility by saying things like, "We made a mistake," or "We forgot to place the order," the employee responsible is named. It's Joe did not meet the deadline. By naming the individual out, they are practicing radical truth and transparency and giving feedback that they can reflect on and grow. They also have a log to record mistakes. If a mistake is made and is recorded in the issue log, they can address it, put in a system where the same mistake won't be made again. Mistakes are acceptable, but if you don't record the mistake, you're not practicing radical transparency and radical truth, and you can't evolve or progress. And this has a much worse outcome for the employee and the business. And my third big takeaway is the 5-step process. Ray Dalio lays out a 5-step process to achieve any goal in life. Number 1 is have clear goals. These can't be ambiguous. They need to be clear goals. Do you want to be rich? Well, how rich? 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, a billion? How do you want to get that? By investing in the stock market, real estate, creating a business? What kind of business? Then there are these sub-principles underneath these steps. You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. So you'll need to prioritize what is important. You're going to need to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to sacrifice some Netflix or some video games to make progress on your goals. Another sub-principle is never rule out a goal because you think it's unattainable. And remember, great expectations create great capabilities. You're going to learn a lot on your way to achieving your goals. So just because you don't have the capabilities now doesn't mean you won't have the capabilities in the future. Step 2, identify and don't tolerate problems. This is how we evolve. We will always run into problems. Then we can think about the problem and fix it. Painful problems are areas of improvement that are screaming at you. When a problem is causing a big headache, then you should take it as a signal that this is an important area to improve on. And be specific when identifying problems. I don't have time, that's not good enough. You gotta say something like, it takes me 10 hours to make a YouTube video, but I only have 8 hours available. Step 3, diagnose the problems and get to their root causes. Find the root cause of the problem before thinking of the solution. Why don't you have enough time to make a video? It takes me too long to edit this video. Okay, why? Keep going. Oh, I make a lot of mistakes when I'm speaking, and I have to edit it out. Okay, we're getting closer. Why? Keep going. I don't prepare and plan my videos properly. Okay, that sounds like a better root cause. Step 4, design a plan. Write down your plan for everybody to see. You write your plan and how to achieve your goals and even all the tiny little details on how and why and when. And it doesn't take long to write a good plan, but these are really important. And step 5, push through to completion. You need to execute. Good planners who don't execute only have plans. Execution is the most important part. Nobody cares how good your plan is if you don't do it. Have good habits to accomplish the plan. What habits are you going to create and what time are you going to do them? So if you want to write a book, something like, every day I'm going to wake up early and write from 6 to 8 in the morning before I go to work. That sounds like a good solid habit. The ideas of embracing reality and dealing with it, embracing radical truth and transparency really struck a chord with me. If you've ever done jiu-jitsu, you'll know what radical truth feels like when you're rolling with somebody and completely unable to defend yourself. Tapping to a submission is accepting the truth of the defeat. Team sports don't have this because you can dilute the blame by saying something like, we lost, or even blaming it on the ref and that bad call the ref made. In jiu-jitsu, you take on the individual responsibility of defeat. I think Principles is a must-read for anybody who wants to improve and take responsibility for their own life. It's a pretty big book, but the good news is that you only need to read the first half. The second half is Work Principles, which applies more to running a business. Everybody can learn from Life Principles portion, but the Work Principles is more about hiring and firing and managing a business. And that's less applicable to everybody, but still important for some people. So have you ever read Principles? What did you learn from the book? Go ahead, leave a comment below about what you thought of it. Please like this video because it takes a lot of work. Subscribe to the channel for new videos every week. And I think that's all I got for today. Justin out.